In the silence of the ancient world, long before the rise of modern kingdoms and the drawing of borders, beneath skies crowded with uncounted stars, a forgotten empire stirs beneath the shifting sands. Their name was once spoken in trembling reverence and fearful awe: the Persians. Born of fire, faith, and destiny, they emerged from harsh mountains and endless deserts that carved endurance into their bones and patience into their souls. Once wandering tribes following herds and seasons, they gathered around sacred flames, believing light was truth, darkness was deceit, and every human life was bound to the eternal struggle between order and chaos. Their priests watched the fire day and night, guarding its purity, whispering prayers that shaped a people who believed their fate was written in divine flame. Then, from among these scattered clans, rose a man whose vision would reshape the known world: Cyrus the Great, warrior, lawgiver, liberator, legend. He united rival tribes not by fear, but by loyalty, forging armies bound by purpose rather than chains. Kingdom after kingdom fell before him, yet he did not slaughter or enslave. Instead, he opened prison doors, returned stolen gods to their temples, and allowed conquered peoples to live by their own customs. Cities opened their gates willingly, for they knew his mercy was stronger than cruelty. A promise of freedom was pressed into clay, a covenant declaring that all nations under Persian rule would keep their faith, their language, and their dignity. Borders expanded beyond imagination, stretching from fertile river valleys to distant seas, and the royal roads carved across continents, carrying messengers who could outrun rumor and rebellion alike. From these roads rose Persepolis, a city of towering pillars, gleaming stone, and carved reliefs where kings received tribute from every corner of the earth. Within its torch-lit halls, the King of Kings ruled a mosaic of nations, while the immortals, elite warriors masked in bronze, stood unmoving, their numbers constant, their presence terrifying. Trade flowed, knowledge traveled, cultures intertwined, and for a moment in human memory, the world beat to a single imperial heart. Yet even the greatest heart can falter. Across restless seas, proud Greek city-states whispered of defiance, and Xerxes, heir to Cyrus's dream, gathered an army so vast that rivers ran dry beneath its thirst. They marched east to west, their banners darkening horizons, their drums shaking mountains. At Thermopylae, a narrow pass became a gateway to legend, where a handful of warriors stood against impossible numbers, where arrows blotted out the sun and courage clashed with destiny. Persia claimed victory, but the cost was heavy, and the winds of fate began to shift. Storms rose without warning, wrecking fleets, drowning soldiers, and scattering ambitions across black waters. In palace corridors, whispers of betrayal slithered through shadows, poisoned cups passed trembling hands, and kings fell silently behind golden doors. Provinces rebelled, satraps turned against the throne, and cracks spread through the once perfect design of empire. Then, from the distant west, came a new storm. A young Macedonian king with fire in his eyes and hunger in his heart. Alexander's armies struck like lightning, and at Gaugamela, the earth shook beneath clashing steel, dust, and screams, as the fate of Persia was decided in a single terrible dawn. Darius fled into the desert, betrayed and murdered by his own men, and the crown of the King of Kings vanished into shadow. Torches soon approached Persepolis, and flames rose where sacred fire once symbolized purity. Pillars collapsed, gold melted, stone cracked, and the city that proclaimed Persia's eternity burned into the night, an empire reduced to drifting embers. But empires do not truly die. They transform into memory. Sacred fires still flickered in hidden sanctuaries, priests carried ancient prayers through generations, and storytellers whispered of Cyrus and kings long gone. Reliefs stood stubborn against wind and time, eyes of stone watching travelers who dared enter the ruins. The desert swallowed palaces, buried crowns, and erased footprints, yet echoes of marching immortals still haunt lonely plains. Under moonlight, broken columns cast long shadows that resemble standing armies, and in the howl of the wind, one can almost hear ancient commands in forgotten tongues. Power fades, thrones crumble, and kings vanish into dust, but greatness leaves scars upon time itself. The battle between light and darkness continues in every age, the same struggle the Persians once believed governed all existence. Secrets sleep beneath the sands, waiting for curious hands to uncover them, and history moves forward, forgetting the fear and wonder that once surrounded the name of Persia. Yet in the deep night, when all is still, a single ember glows beneath the ashes of the past, pulsing like a heartbeat, whispering that the ancient fire has not died. It merely waits, watching, enduring, ready to rise again.